Dark waters of Lake Van lies a secret that has whispered through centuries. Legends speak of an entire civilization swallowed overnight. Divers have reported glimpses of stone foundations. Some claim these ruins date back thousands of years. Others suggest the city could be an Urartian fortress. Local folklore adds another layer of intrigue, warning that the lake is cursed. Every ripple hints at human ambition. The lake's isolation and geological complexity have shielded this city from looters. As we journey into this forgotten world, we will explore not only the submerged structures but also the rich tapestry of historical records, geological events, and myths that surround them. Could this be Anatolia's own Atlantis, a city claimed by water yet immortalized in memory? Lake Van stretches across Eastern Anatolia, a vast body of water that has long fascinated explorers, historians, and locals alike. Surrounded by volcanic peaks and steep cliffs, the lake sits in a geologically volatile region. This rugged terrain provided both protection and peril for ancient inhabitants. Historical texts, some of which vanished mysteriously, giving rise to whispers of sunken civilizations. Today, local villagers recount tales passed down through generations. Archaeologists have long debated whether these tales are purely mythological. Sonar scans and underwater drones have revealed structures. While these discoveries are tantalizing and accessibility remain limited, leaving many questions unanswered. The lake's water is frigid, often near freezing. Despite these obstacles, every expedition uncovers fragments of a civilization long thought lost. The convergence of folklore, historical records, and preliminary underwater evidence paints a picture of a community. Lake Van is more than just a body of water. It is a guardian of secrets, a repository of human achievement, discovery. Whether a stone foundation, a carved block. The first hints of a sunken city beneath Lake Van came not from legends, but from explorers and divers daring to peer into its frigid depths. Reports emerged of stone formations that appeared deliberately arranged. Such structures seemed too intentional to be the result of natural forces alone. Some proposed that these remains could be attributed to the Urartians, a civilization that dominated Eastern Anatolia between the 9th and 6th centuries BCE. Known for their mastery of architecture and irrigation systems, the Urartians constructed cities. Certain submerged stones appear older than known Urartian activity, suggesting a civilization predating recorded history. Divers occasionally encounter massive stone slabs with carved reliefs. Along the lake's shallow edges, fragments of inscriptions have been discovered. While interpretation is difficult, these clues collectively suggest a city once thriving. Abruptly lost to the lake, scholars remain cautious, emphasizing that sedimentation. Every stone recovered, and every diver's report adds to a picture of human ingenuity frozen in time. The mysteries Lake Van invite us to imagine a civilization flourishing along these shore streets bustling with life. In every submerged structure lies a story, a testament to ambition and the precarious balance between humans and the natural world. Lake Van is not just a passive body of water, it is a dynamic, living landscape shaped by millennia of geological upheaval. Volcanic activity and shifting tectonic plates have continuously sculpted the surrounding region. Ancient inhabitants who settled along its shores had to contend with the lake's volatile temperament. Seismic records and geological surveys suggest that the area has experienced repeated earthquakes over thousands of years. Landslides triggered by such quakes could have displaced massive amounts of earth and rock into the lake. Volcanic eruptions, too, may have played a role. The region surrounding Lake Van is dotted with volcanic peaks whose eruptions could have sent ash. The interaction of these natural forces created a precarious environment for any civilization daring to thrive on its edges. Over time, sediment accumulation has buried foundations and obscured evidence. The very conditions that led to the city's submersion also became its preservers. These same forces complicate underwater exploration, as visibility is poor. The combination of earthquakes and volcanic activity presents a plausible explanation for sudden city submersion. Local legends speak of entire streets swallowed, temples vanished, and citizens lost in moments. By studying these forces alongside sonar imagery and archaeological findings, researchers can begin to construct a narrative of the city's dramatic end. The lake becomes more than a setting, it is an active participant, shaping history. Before the waters claimed the city, The shores of Lake Van were home to a vibrant civilization. Archaeological evidence points to advanced urban planning, sophisticated stonework, and the presence of literacy. While the Urartians are known to have dominated Eastern Anatolia from the 9th to 6th centuries BCE, some submerged structures hint at the possibility of a civilization predating them. These people were skilled artisans and builders. Pottery fragments discovered along the lake's shallow edges reveal artistic motifs, geometric patterns. Trade may have flourished here, with the city serving as a hub connecting nearby highland settlements, plains communities, and distant regions. Religious practices likely played a central role in this society, with temples and ceremonial platforms. Folklore preserves echoes of these practices, speaking of sacred fires that burned continuously. The very environment that nurtured the civilization also posed constant threats. Historical accounts, combined with geological data, suggest that an abrupt disaster, perhaps an earthquake, the sudden disappearance, was not total erasure. Even as the city vanished, it left behind whispers of its existence, preserved in legend and folklore. The people of Lake Van were not merely victims of catastrophe, they were architects of culture, society, and knowledge. Their legacy challenges us to imagine a world lost beneath the lake, to reconstruct a civilization that balanced human ambition with environmental fragility. The story of Lake Van's submerged city is as much a tale of human imagination as it is of archaeology. Local folklore preserves vivid accounts of a civilization swallowed by water, describing streets that vanished overnight, grand temples submerged in silence, and sacred fires extinguished in an instant. These legends, passed down through generations, hint at a collective memory of catastrophe that may be rooted in real events. Some tales speak of divine punishment, suggesting that the gods themselves intervened to claim the city, while others frame the disaster as the inevitable result of human hubris, a reminder of civilization's fragility. Beyond moral lessons, these narratives provide valuable context for understanding the cultural and spiritual life of the lost city. The recurring motifs, temples, ceremonial fires, and sacred lakeside rituals mirror archaeological findings, suggesting a society deeply attuned to both environmental and spiritual forces. Myth and history intertwine as stories describe entire districts sinking beneath the lake, streets aligned with celestial patterns, and citizens fleeing in terror as the waters rose. Modern researchers find that these accounts, while poetic, may encode real observations of floods, earthquakes, or landslides, preserved in narrative form long before formal record-keeping existed. The lake itself becomes a character in these tales, a silent, watchful force that both sustains and punishes, reflecting humanity's complex relationship with nature. Even today, the waters are said to hold an aura of mystery. Divers report an unsettling stillness, an almost palpable sense of history beneath the waves. Folklore thus complements archaeological evidence, offering insights into the values, fears, and rituals of the people who lived along the lake's edge. Stories of vanished palaces, sunken streets, and divine wrath amplify the drama of the city's disappearance, inviting modern audiences to imagine not only the physical structures, but the human experiences that define them. The interplay between legend and evidence enriches our understanding, highlighting the ways societies interpret disaster, record memory, and construct identity. In considering the submerged city through the lens of folklore, we glimpse a civilization whose life and death were inseparably bound to the lake, whose mysteries have been preserved in both water and story. Every shadow beneath the surface, every ripple over ancient stone, becomes a reminder that history is alive not only in artifacts but also in memory, imagination, and myth. The city beneath Lake Van challenges us to reconcile what we can see, what we can measure, and what we can only imagine. It is a story where science and legend meet, where each discovery deepens the mystery, and where the voices of the past continue to speak through centuries of water, stone, and narrative, reminding us that some secrets are meant to endure. In recent decades, Lake Van has drawn the attention of archaeologists, geologists, and daring explorers, all determined to uncover the secrets lurking beneath its dark, reflective surface. Modern technology has allowed for a glimpse of what was once impossible to access. Remotely operated vehicles, sonar mapping, and specialized diving equipment now reveal submerged foundations, stone blocks, and potential street layouts that hint at a city frozen in time. Each dive presents formidable challenges. The water is frigid, often just above freezing at depth, and currents can be unpredictable, stirring up sediment that clouds visibility. Despite these obstacles, teams have meticulously documented artifacts and structural formations, slowly piecing together an image of a civilization that once thrived along these shores. Sonar scans have uncovered regular geometric patterns, suggesting intentional urban planning, and divers have photographed massive stone pillars and carved blocks that imply ceremonial or administrative use. Some foundations hint at large public spaces or temple platforms, revealing a society organized with sophistication and purpose. Pottery shards and fragments of inscriptions recovered from the shallow lakebed offer tantalizing clues about the people who once lived here. Clues that may indicate literacy, trade, and artistic expression. Each find reinforces the sense that this city was not a temporary settlement but a carefully constructed hub of human activity, now preserved in an underwater time capsule. The integration of geological study and archaeology has proven vital, as sediment layers and water conditions help researchers understand how natural disasters might have contributed to the city's disappearance. Evidence of landslides, submerged terraces, and displaced stone blocks suggests that a sudden event, perhaps triggered by an earthquake, could have overwhelmed the settlement, sending it beneath the lake in moments. Yet, while technology provides unprecedented access, many mysteries remain. The city's full scale, its original population, and the specifics of its disappearance are still unknown, concealed beneath meters of water and sediment. Explorers must navigate both physical danger and interpretive uncertainty, deciphering fragments and patterns while imagining the vibrant life that once existed here. Lake Van's depths guard a civilization that continues to challenge assumptions, bridging myth and reality, legend and evidence. Every dive, every sonar scan, and every artifact recovered contributes not just to history, but to the story of human resilience, ingenuity, and vulnerability in the face of nature's immense power. As modern explorers map foundations, trace streets, and photograph submerged relics, they are not merely studying stones. They are reconstructing a civilization lost to time, bridging the millennia to encounter a city that vanished but refuses to be forgotten. Artifacts recovered from Lake Van's shallow edges and surveyed underwater formations provide tantalizing insights into the culture, technology, and daily life of the city's long-lost inhabitants. Pottery shards reveal meticulous craftsmanship, adorned with geometric patterns, symbolic motifs, and functional designs that suggest trade, domestic life, and ceremonial practices. Stone carvings and pillar fragments hint at ritualistic or administrative functions, indicating a society with social hierarchies and spiritual institutions. Even without complete inscriptions, subtle markings on stones suggest a literate or symbolic culture capable of documenting events, religious practices, or governance. These relics collectively paint a picture of a civilization that thrived in harmony with its environment, utilizing the lake's resources while constructing monumental architecture that reflected both practicality and aesthetic ambition. Archaeologists have noted the consistency in stone shapes and alignment, implying not random construction but careful planning and engineering expertise. Courtyards, foundations, and terraces suggest communal spaces and public buildings, revealing the societal importance of gathering, ritual, and administration. Moreover, the artifacts indicate connections beyond the immediate region. Some pottery styles and motifs resemble neighboring highland settlements, suggesting trade networks or cultural exchanges that enriched the city's development. Every fragment, from carved stone to broken ceramic, becomes a testament to the city's human dimension. The families who lived, worked, and worshipped there, and the artisans who poured skill and creativity into every creation. Even the lake itself becomes part of the narrative, both as protector and destroyer. Its cold waters preserved delicate materials that might otherwise have decayed, yet its rising levels, earthquakes, or landslides ultimately claimed the city, embedding it beneath sediment layers. The juxtaposition of preservation and destruction underscores the fragile balance between human ambition and nature's overwhelming power. Folklore echoes these realities, describing sacred fires, sunken streets, and vanished temples, reinforcing the notion that the city's story is told through both tangible and intangible records. By studying artifacts in context with submerged structures, scholars begin to reconstruct not only the physical city but also the social, spiritual, and economic life of its people. These cultural traces reveal a society capable of remarkable ingenuity, whose sudden disappearance still captivates the imagination. Every artifact recovered, every measured foundation, and every mapped street contributes to the unfolding narrative of Lake Van's submerged city, offering a bridge across time to encounter a civilization lost yet preserved beneath the lake's mysterious, reflective surface. Through these relics, we gain a profound appreciation for human resilience, creativity, and the enduring mystery of a world swallowed by water yet never fully forgotten. As the evidence of Lake Van's submerged city accumulates, the mystery deepens, and the story becomes more compelling than ever. Despite decades of research, sonar mapping, and underwater exploration, the city remains largely concealed, resisting attempts to fully reveal its layout, population, or precise history. Foundations hint at streets and public spaces. Pillars suggest ceremonial or administrative functions. Yet the city's scale and complexity elude definitive measurement. The suddenness of its disappearance continues to intrigue scholars. Was it an earthquake that struck without warning? A massive landslide displacing entire neighborhoods? Or a combination of geological forces amplified by volcanic activity that forced the city beneath the waters in moments? Each theory aligns partially with the available evidence, but none provides a complete explanation. Folklore and myth add a layer of narrative that is equally compelling. Stories describe entire districts vanishing overnight, temples swallowed by water, and sacred fires extinguished as though the divine had intervened. Such legends, passed down through generations, may preserve eyewitness accounts transformed by time, encoding memory into myth. The interplay between tangible evidence and intangible story creates a tension that defines the city's allure. Every stone photographed by divers, every sonar image revealing linear alignments, and every artifact recovered from sedimentary layers reinforces the sense of a city deliberately planned, yet abruptly lost. Even the lake itself becomes part of the narrative, a living, dynamic presence that both sustains and erases. Its cold, reflective waters conceal secrets, preserve remnants, and challenge our understanding of human vulnerability in the face of natural forces. The deeper we explore, the more the city resists simplification. The submerged ruins suggest a society with sophisticated urban planning, trade networks, and spiritual practices. Yet the absence of written records leaves critical gaps. What rituals occurred in its temples? How did inhabitants respond to geological warnings? Why does the city appear to predate known civilizations in the region? These questions persist, compelling both experts and the curious public to continue probing the depths. Lake Van's sunken city, preserved in cold waters, sediment, and memory, remains a paradox. Tangible yet elusive, historical yet mythic, ordered yet abruptly disrupted. It is in this tension that the city's true power lies, an enduring enigma inviting exploration, imagination, and reflection. With each discovery, the story grows richer, but the full truth remains suspended beneath the lake, waiting for those bold enough to confront its hidden depths and piece together a civilization that continues to defy understanding. The story of Lake Van's submerged city does not rest solely on physical evidence or folklore. It exists in the intersection of both, where hybrid theories attempt to reconcile science with legend. Archaeologists rely on sonar scans, diving expeditions, and sediment analysis to map foundations, streets, and monumental structures. These tangible remnants suggest intentional urban planning, ceremonial platforms, and perhaps administrative centers, pointing to a civilization with sophisticated organization and engineering knowledge. Yet, geological surveys indicate a region prone to earthquakes, landslides, and volcanic activity, suggesting that natural forces could have abruptly claimed the city, aligning with centuries-old tales of sudden submersion. Folklore amplifies these events, recounting vanished streets, extinguished sacred fires, and divine wrath, weaving moral, spiritual, and cultural narratives around the city's fate. Hybrid theories merge these threads, proposing that while geological events likely triggered destruction, human memory encoded the disaster in stories that blended observation with interpretation, creating enduring myths. Some scholars even suggest multiple layers of habitation, with pre-Urartian settlements buried beneath later structures, offering a timeline that spans centuries and accounts for stylistic variations in stonework and artifacts. The interplay between archaeology, geology, and legend allows researchers to approach the mystery holistically, considering not only what happened, but how it was remembered and interpreted by subsequent generations. Hybrid theories also highlight the role of human perception. Catastrophic events, monumental architecture, and spiritual practices shaped collective memory, embedding it into the cultural identity of surrounding communities. These interpretations do not replace the need for evidence. Rather, they enrich our understanding, providing context and emotional resonance that pure data cannot convey. Each stone foundation, each sonar-imaged alignment, each fragment of pottery becomes a node connecting historical fact, geological reality, and narrative memory. The city beneath Lake Van, therefore, is not merely an archaeological puzzle but a living dialogue between past and present, science and myth. As hybrid theories develop, they challenge us to imagine a civilization whose achievements, fears, and responses were preserved in water, stone, and story. They suggest that the city's disappearance was both an act of nature and an event immortalized in human imagination. In studying these layers simultaneously, we are reminded that history is not always linear or absolute. It is often a fusion of what we can measure, what we can interpret, and what we dare to believe. The submerged city continues to resist final answers, inviting exploration, reflection, and speculation, standing as a testament to the enduring mystery of civilizations claimed by water, but preserved in legend, evidence, and the human imagination. Despite decades of research, the sunken city beneath Lake Van remains a puzzle that refuses to be fully solved. Sonar scans reveal foundations, streets, and possible ceremonial spaces, yet the overall scale of the city and the specifics of its disappearance are still shrouded in mystery. Were these structures part of a single civilization, or do they represent multiple layers of habitation spanning centuries? Geological evidence points to earthquakes, landslides, and volcanic activity as potential triggers for the city's submersion, yet no single event can entirely account for the precise alignment of ruins and artifacts found today. Folklore adds both color and complexity, recounting stories of vanished streets, extinguished sacred fires, and divine retribution. These tales may be memory encoded in myth, preserving human experiences of catastrophe long before formal record-keeping existed. Every diver's observation, every sonar image, and every artifact recovered reinforces the sense that the city was intentionally constructed, sophisticated, and vibrant, a society suddenly interrupted by forces beyond comprehension. Yet the submerged city remains inaccessible in many areas, its secrets preserved under layers of sediment and frigid water. Even with modern technology, researchers encounter limitations. Visibility is poor, currents are unpredictable, and the full extent of the urban grid is impossible to determine without extensive, prolonged exploration. The tension between what is known and what remains hidden gives the city its haunting allure. It is a civilization simultaneously tangible and intangible, historical and mythic, ordered yet disrupted. Scholars, explorers, and storytellers alike grapple with its unresolved core, combining evidence with interpretation, observation with imagination. Each stone, pillar, and artifact acts as a clue but also as a reminder of what may never be fully understood. The lake's waters, both preservers and concealers, maintain the delicate balance between revelation and mystery. The city challenges conventional timelines, inviting speculation about pre-Urartian settlements, cultural exchanges, and forgotten knowledge that may have influenced later civilizations. Even the most advanced mapping technologies cannot fully reconstruct the social, spiritual, or daily life of its inhabitants, leaving questions that hover like shadows beneath the reflective surface. In essence, the unresolved core of Lake Van's sunken city is what gives it enduring power. It exists as a living enigma, beckoning historians, explorers, and dreamers to delve deeper, to question assumptions, and to imagine what may lie beneath. It is a mystery that defies closure, a narrative suspended between the tangible world and the depths of human curiosity. A city forever whispering its secrets to those willing to listen and brave enough to seek. As we step back from the submerged streets, foundations, and temples of Lake Van, the enormity of what lies beneath the water becomes clear. This is not just a collection of stone and sediment. It is the echo of a civilization, frozen in time yet alive in the stories and artifacts that endure. Every artifact recovered, every sonar mapping image, and every diver's observation contributes to a portrait of human ambition, creativity, and vulnerability. The city reflects a society capable of architectural mastery, artistic expression, and social organization, yet entirely subject to forces far beyond its control. Its disappearance is a reminder of how quickly human achievement can be claimed by nature, and how impermanence is woven into the very fabric of history. Folklore adds a layer of meaning, preserving not just the events themselves but the human emotions surrounding catastrophe: fear, awe, grief, and reverence. Through the combination of archaeology and legend, we gain insight into the lives of those who walked these streets, built these structures, and worshipped in these temples. Even with modern technology, much remains elusive. The lake guards its secrets jealously, offering only glimpses and fragments. Yet it is precisely this partial revelation that gives the city its haunting power. It challenges our understanding of time, culture, and history, asking us to consider the civilizations lost beneath water, sand, or rubble, and the lessons they hold for those who come after. The city beneath Lake Van is more than a mystery. It is a mirror reflecting human curiosity and resilience. Every unanswered question, every shadow on the lakebed, every artifact waiting to be analyzed reminds us that history is never fully complete. By exploring the city, we confront the delicate balance between human endeavor and natural forces, between memory and myth, between what can be discovered and what remains hidden. The reflective waters above the ruins serve as both veil and storyteller, preserving history in its own enigmatic way. As we contemplate the submerged city, we are invited not only to witness its remnants, but to engage with the broader narrative of civilizations that rise, flourish, and vanish. The story of Lake Van becomes a meditation on time, fragility, and endurance, a testament to humanity's ongoing quest to uncover the past and understand our place in the continuum of history. Through exploration, research, and imagination, the city continues to speak, bridging centuries and reminding us that even in disappearance, a civilization can leave an indelible mark. Beneath the calm, reflective surface of Lake Van, the sunken city remains both visible and unknowable, a civilization preserved in mystery yet beyond full comprehension. Every stone, every submerged street, every fragment of pottery or carved pillar tells a story, yet the complete narrative remains elusive. Scholars and explorers have pieced together fragments, drawing from sonar scans, diving expeditions, and geological studies. But the city's full scale, its original population, and the intricacies of daily life remain hidden beneath layers of sediment and centuries of water. The intersection of evidence and folklore adds richness, yet also deepens the enigma. Stories of vanished temples, extinguished sacred fires, and streets swallowed overnight suggest human experiences captured in myth, encoding memory into narrative that has persisted across generations. The city's sudden disappearance, whether due to earthquakes, landslides, or volcanic activity, reminds us of the precariousness of human endeavor in the face of nature's immense power. Yet, paradoxically, this very force of destruction has preserved the city, embedding it beneath cold waters and protecting it from time, looters, and erosion. As researchers explore these depths, they confront not only physical challenges but philosophical ones. The impossibility of knowing fully, the tension between evidence and imagination, and the realization that some truths may remain forever out of reach. Every dive, every sonar mapping, every recovered artifact becomes an act of dialogue with the past, a conversation with a civilization that speaks across millennia, asking us to wonder, to question, and to seek understanding. It is in this pursuit, rather than in certainty, that the true significance of the city emerges. It challenges us to reconsider our assumptions about history, resilience, and human ambition, showing that even in disappearance, civilizations leave traces that demand attention, interpretation, and respect. And as we gaze upon the lake's still, reflective surface, we are forced to confront the profound question at the heart of the mystery. What stories, knowledge, and wonders remain hidden beneath the waters, waiting to be discovered, and how much of human history is still submerged, silent, and waiting for those willing to explore the depths? Lake Van's lost city reminds us that the past is never entirely gone. It endures in shadow, in memory, and in the tantalizing promise of discovery. And perhaps, in answering that single question, we not only uncover a city beneath the water but reconnect with the enduring spirit of human curiosity, imagination, and wonder that bridges centuries, leaving us with awe, reflection, and an insatiable desire to know more.